What's up, everyone? Scotty from Chernobyl Studios. Welcome to the second video in my Life Without Waves plugin video series. In this video, we're going to talk about AIXDSP, in particular, their drum producer plugin bundle, which I have used on this channel for mixes before. I've talked about it before, definitely have promoted them before. But I would like to make a dedicated video for this video series. AIX is sponsoring this video. They are paying me to do it, but I have used their plugins and bought them actually, so I'm a big fan. Now, before we get started, I did want to let you know that I have created a Patreon. There's a bunch of behind-the-scenes content there because I'm working on a lot of real client projects, and a lot of these don't translate to YouTube videos very well because right now it's bam, 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 7-second reels, 7-second shorts, bam, 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 bam. And it's more long form stuff. And because mixing is a series of micro decisions through the process, it's made more sense for me to make a Patreon account. So there's real clients, real mix sessions, making real decisions, including a bunch of behind the scenes content that I did when I was at Hertz studio. And we did videos together with Wojtek. It's all on the Patreon. Okay, link down below. It's one tier. It's basically free. Link down below. Have a look at that. All right. So let's get started here and look at the AIX DSP plugins. So here's their website actually, and you might already know about Multiband Gate, which is something I've talked about a bunch. I know Glenn Fricker loves this plugin. It's actually because of Glenn that I bought the drum producer pack in the first place. One of the best purchases I've ever made for working on real drums. This multiband gate here is ridiculous. It's an amazing problem solver, let me tell you, and I'll show you exactly why. AIXDSP, here's a video with Glenn, is a great company because it's very simple. You buy it, you own the plugin, you get updates. And there are times where they will find a bunch of bugs, one after another, and they'll just roll updates. You get an email once a week sometimes, like, hey, new plugin version, update to the latest. These bugs have been fixed. So there's been a lot of customer service attached to my purchase. Like, this plugin looks completely different. I think the GUI has been redesigned twice, 3 times since when I originally purchased it. I just really enjoy it. This multiband gate is great. I have solved problems that I didn't think were solvable because of the combination of the multiband gate with the Intuition Compressor in particular, okay? But the DrumEQ just makes toms come right out. And the session I'm going to show you, I've actually already showed you guys this before. This is the Malamore session. This was the mix contest session that Kristen Kola did a couple months back, all right? And I used the full producer pack here to use the real drums, right? Because one of the challenges that Kola presented to us was, hey, try and use the real drums. Don't just sample replace everything right away. Because I think it was 1997 when this was recorded, sample replacing everything just wasn't a thing. You couldn't do it. So see if you can do it, right? The kick drum I replaced as a trigger but I have everything else is real, all right? Real snare, real toms. And this is really where you can see here, multiband gate, DrumEQ, Intuition Compressor. It did an amazing job on the snare. And I can just show you like right away here. So if I solo the snare, this is the result that I have right now. That's no samples, okay? So if I take the processing off, you get all that nasty stuff coming in the backside. It's not too obvious with the blast beats. It's way more obvious when we have cymbals going in between. I think I made, yeah. So I did a couple of things manually here. So what was this? This was -9. Okay. So I've done a couple of things manually here to help keep some of the cymbal bleed out. Okay, and this is the kind of stuff where it's going to kill your drum sound. Okay, and then sometimes you just have to do this manually. You bring it down like 9 or 10 dB, and then the gate catches it. But compare that to this. That crash cymbal is just all over the place, and you can't do anything with it. You couldn't do typical snare drum EQ moves that we'd want to do. For example, adding air to the top end of the snare drum, maybe for crack or more sizzle. You just can't do it when you have a bunch of errant cymbal bleed in the background killing your snare sound. Now, the Intuition Compressor really, I think the clipper, let me take that off. So the Intuition Compressor here is also helping the snare sound like a sledgehammer, right? It's a bit thin sounding without it. But you add it in, right? It's a little thin without the compressor. Now we have that like wooden crack, like it's a baseball bat on the snare drum, okay? Just these three in a row just made this so much easier. But it really, the savior is the multiband gate. So let me show you really quick what I did on the toms with it, because it's the same kind of process, just the toms are a bit different. I really want to show you how the DrumEQ saved the toms. We need the problem with this performance a little bit was the performance was a little buzzy on the toms. No, it's okay. Let me see. Here we go. This is a decent hit. Okay, so this is with all the processing on. All right, and without the processing. Without the processing, it's just like a honky basketball, and it's pretty disgusting, right? Most of this is because of the DrumEQ. The DrumEQ is really doing most of the work. I've done extra work with the Pro Q, but the heavy lifting really is with the DrumEQ. Let me show you what I mean. Ugh. That sounds just awful, but DrumEQ, way better. And then some extra moves with the Pro Q3. Not a lot. But you can tell the Pro Q3 is really not doing that much as compared to it's like the last squeezing out the last 5% of what DrumEQ did, which was massively cleaning up the toms, massively making them sound better. Because without this DrumEQ, it just sounds terrible. And with the Pro Q, like I just have the Pro Q here, still have the same problem. But this DrumEQ, man. Wow. Okay, so the way that the DrumEQ works is, we have these lines here, and we basically are EQing based on the fundamental frequencies of the toms. So we set up the tom here with we tune the frequency, so this is 95. We can tune it like this. So now every EQ move we are making is based on the actual overtones that are being created when the drum is hit. Instead of just EQing like, yeah, you should probably EQ around 500 hertz. We're actually tuning here with this software, and we can see the fundamental and then the harmonics as they move up, and we can EQ based on that. And that's the magic of this plugin. It's freaking amazing. For toms and snare, this DrumEQ is, in my opinion, irreplaceable. Anytime I have real toms and real snare, I use DrumEQ. I don't even bother wasting my time trying to do anything else. I will use the Pro Q3 to do the last 5% of something. But again, that's without DrumEQ. That's with DrumEQ. Okay, let me do that again. That was without, this is with. Night and day difference. It's incredible. And then the Intuition Compressor, again, is adding more thickness, because it's really thin. Kind of like not really doing anything. And then we get the attack right in the front there. So we're really getting some thickness and oomph into the tom with the Intuition Compressor. I mean, I don't want to make this a 20-minute video. I'm going to try to keep these videos a bit shorter, okay? But instead, I'm trying to show you real world reasons why I use these plugins, not just AIXDSP paid me to make this. So here we go. I love these plugins. I actually do legitimately use them all the time, and I don't know what plugin alternatively on the market you could replace the DrumEQ with from AIXDSP. I'm not sure there is one. Okay, so I'm very happy to make this video for AIXDSP, especially because they have very pro-consumer policies. You buy the plugin, you fucking own the plugin, you get updates, done. It's over with. That's the DrumEQ. The Multiband Gate. Where else did I use it? Because it's not just on. I think I used these on the overheads too. So this is like a really extreme use case. So this particular song has just outrageous overheads. It was just, and the cymbal was too big, I think. It just sounded like a gong. I was like, man, what if I took the high band from the Multiband Gate, because this is an EQ, and just pulled it down. And I really like what it did there. So pulling down the high frequencies a little bit above 5K, like where all the nasty sibilants and things happen, just deadening it a little bit before moving it into soothe and doing extra EQ seemed to do the trick for the drums. Right? And, in the full mix, obviously. All completely natural drums, except for the kick, okay, of course. But really, the tail here is the Multiband Gate, really even allowing me to use the real snare. If I didn't have this, I'm not even sure I would even have bothered trying to do it. I mean, I did have to get in here and do some extra work to some of the China cymbals and stuff, but, that's small time business, no big deal. But really, this Multiband Gate, hear the difference. Like, you can hear how out of control the overheads are when it's going through the snare microphone. Like, here's without the Multiband Gate. Look how just listen how the more controlled and more upfront the snare comes in the mix. It clears everything out. It just clears all this extra white noise and nonsense that all the other microphones are picking up and allows the drum to come through. So there's 3 instances of Multiband Gate here. I'll enable all of them, and I'm sure we will listen to a focused. We hear a drum sound now that'll become more focused. It's night and day difference, even with the full mix playing. It's night and day difference. So that's really the power of these plugins. Again, let's talk about the Intuition Compressor. Truth be told, there's so much stuff on here. I don't know what's intuitive about it, but I'm not using it like that. I literally just use the threshold, ratio, and the knee. Really, I'm only focusing on these 3 knobs right here. I do like that I like all the information that I can get from this. The visual information in particular. And I can freeze it, so I can actually do this for you. This is cool. So for me personally, when I was learning compression, it was kind of hard to visualize in my head, like, okay, ratio, all right, okay, the have open and close, attack, whatever that means, and release, okay. It's like everything's named the opposite, right? Well, you can see visually here what your compressor is actually doing, how fast it's opening and closing. You can see, how much of the audio transient is being affected or is not affected, and how much gain reduction you're doing here. So there are a lot of visual cues here where you can look at the plugin and go, oh yeah, okay, I get it. And it was these kind of plugins that really helped me solidify, oh yeah, that's how compression works. Okay, all right, that's what attack means. Attack is not actually attacking, it's how fast the compressor opens. All right. Releasing, we're not releasing something, we're just how fast the compressor closes. It's all opposite, right? And we can see it right here. You could adjust with your ear right? And then you can fine tune it to the millisecond where you wanted it to be by just looking. I think that's a powerful plugin. So I have used Intuition Compressor. I generally, when I'm using real playing or when I'm mixing real drums, I tend to use these three plugins almost in order: Multiband, DrumEQ, Intuition Compressor, right? So I am a huge fan of the Drum Producer Pack. All right, that'll do it, guys. I hope you enjoyed the video. If you have another company that I should check out, that you think I should work with or try to test out their plugins and see what you think of them, and if they are worthy of being on the Life Without Waves playlist here on my YouTube channel, leave a comment below. If you have tried the AIX plugins before, what did you think of them? Please leave a comment down below. Also, maybe someone else might be curious of your experience, how you used them, what you did with them. And remember, don't forget, I have great Patreon videos of behind the scenes stuff of working on real life clients, real life problems that I have to solve. All right, thanks a lot again to AIXDSP. Guys, I love your plugins. Thanks for making them. Thanks for the opportunity for me to talk about them yet again. I'm happy to do it. So I will see you guys in the next video. Have a good one.